time we cut out the cancer.
Hey, EnteR ChazmaN here, and I just have one question. James Wan, what the heck is this? Okay, so right off the bat, just so you know with me, I absolutely love horror movies and I love weird stuff. So when going into Malignant and knowing James Wan, I was absolutely expecting something more similar to The Conjuring or more atypical of just what modern horror movies are nowadays. Now James Wan clearly with this movie goes totally off the beaten path, and for me it was totally a welcome artistic style and decision. Now before I do start to dig into the movie, I would like to say that there will be no spoilers in here, so don't worry. I absolutely want as many people as possible to experience this movie and decide whether they like it for themselves. So what are you waiting for? Go watch it. Go watch it right now. The true and possibly the most interesting question when it comes to Malignant is whether everything with and within Malignant was intentional or not. For me, immediately what brings up this idea of this question is the initial trailers and overall the marketing for this movie prior to its release. It was totally shown and built up to be the next Conjuring or some sort of movie again, similar to that liking, but for either two reasons. Either one, the studio decided to advertise Wan's movie as one of those because they thought the style of movie he was trying to make wouldn't be marketable to a larger audience, or two, what I believe to be the actual reason for the trailers is the idea that James Wan actually cut his trailers to be that way in order to intentionally mislead his viewers. Of which, if that is the case, is this man a genius or a troll? Or both? Now, in a way to kind of push back on what I just said, there are examples of other movies attempting to mislead as well, some successfully and some not so much. Two more recent movies that come to mind for me was the movies Split, which did it very successfully in my opinion and is one of my favorite movies I've seen perhaps in the last decade, and unfortunately the movie A Cure for Wellness, of which I really don't feel like pulled it off and is a movie I don't ever care to watch again. When it comes to James Wan, I think what for me best separates Malignant from some of his other horror directorial movies, such as the Saws, the Insidious movies, and the Conjuring series, is this movie is super ridiculously campy and extremely hilarious. I mean, right from the get-go at the very beginning of the movie, it starts out just unabashedly setting things up. The protagonist of the movie, Madison, has an incredibly gross and abusive husband, of which is very obvious and plain to see with him watching UFC fights as she comes home. After an incident with Madison though, his douchiness is essentially what gets the movie going, and he most definitely gets his comeuppance very early on. Something else that's super ridiculous and entertaining within the movie is, man, these sets are just absolutely awesome and hilarious. Many of them are just downright unrealistic. Like when talking about Madison's house, with her outside versus the inside, the outside shows like this really thin, kind of small house, but then when things move back inside, it's almost like she's running through a maze and has all of the room in the world. The movie to an extent is almost so campy that it borderlines on parody. Another example of the sets and hilarity within the movie is what's definitely my favorite section, the jail scene within Malignant. This is a scene so nice, I've already seen it more than twice. Essentially within this part of the third act, the movie kind of takes its gloves off and just gets downright wacky. I mean, you've got rednecks, you've got a lady that looks like she's straight out of the 70s, there's an entire ridiculous Matrix-like fight scene. Shoot, if this scene in the movie had a sink in it, I have a feeling it would try and throw it at you. This jail part culminates with the antagonist of the movie, a being known as a monster or the devil, just kind of piecing out and launching a chair at somebody. I laughed pretty hard and enjoyed it quite a bit. Alright, I think it's almost impossible for me to keep talking about it without getting into spoilers, but as you can tell by now, I think I really love this movie for a bunch of different reasons. It really felt like a throwback and someone attempting to make a really awesome bad B movie, and I really appreciate that. Malignant definitely kind of throws James Wan, for me personally, towards the top of some of my favorite horror directors. Don't get me wrong though, Sam Raimi and John Carpenter, still the kings.
Hail to the king, baby.
Well, final words from me. Malignant has some pretty great shots with some awesome camera work in my opinion. It's got great music and also delivers a great new horror theme song, which is a cover of the Pixie song Where Is My Mind? And probably most important from a horror movie is it has one of the better, more memorable, more unique antagonists that I can remember in quite a bit, possibly since Split. So what did you guys think of my video, and what did you think of Malignant? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I would absolutely love to hear back. I've got a feeling that this is going to be a very divisive movie. There's going to be a lot of people that dislike it, and I think that's primarily due to expectations, but who knows, maybe there's people out there that legitimately dislike it. Whatever your opinions and thoughts on it, I would love to have an open dialogue with you guys, so please like, share, and subscribe, and I look forward to responding to your comments down below. And with that, I just want to say, as always, I love you guys, please be safe, and I of course cannot wait to see you guys on the next venture we have on EnteR ChazmaN. Thanks again, guys and gals. Adios. Hey now, I see you made it through the video and liked or even possibly loved it. Well, if you want to see any more additional content or you'd like to get into contact with me, consider checking out some of my social medias right here. And if you'd like to go above and beyond and want to support my channel monetarily, here is also a couple places where you can do so. And if nothing else, simply liking, sharing, and subscribing would make me the happiest ChazmaN on the planet.